This video shows how to sharpen a leather skiving knife using whetstones and how to polish the surface using a leather strop loaded with a polishing compound. A flat stone works better, and the best way I've found to true a stone is to use a fine grit wet dry sandpaper on top of a perfectly flat surface like heavy glass. This is a set of whetstones, with one being 1000 grit and the other being 4000 grit, so the sandpaper will remove the surface of the stone quickly. The stones are a higher grit, so the sandpaper will remove high peaks from the stone but will leave a roughened surface, so when you drag your knife along the surface, the stone will become smoother during the sharpening process. The whetstones need to be soaked in water before use, and I like to leave the stones in water at least an hour before I start. Fasten the stone to a stable surface. I like to use an adjustable holder because I use lots of different size stones depending on the tools I want to sharpen. To make sure you are grinding the blade to a flat surface across the entire length of the blade, use a felt marker to highlight the tip and grind until the mark is removed. This can be done every time you switch to smoother stones. A leather skiver's knife is similar to the blade in a woodworker's plane except at an angle, so it can be sharpened the same way by flattening the back of the blade and grinding the top surface to create a sharp edge. Press the back of the blade against the stone and rub the blade on the stone for a few minutes to polish the edge flat. Press the top of the blade along the beveled edge and polish the edge on the beveled surface in the same way you flattened the back. The trick to sharpening successfully is to always maintain the exact angle of the blade as you polish its surface to a very sharp point. As you flatten one side, a slight burr will form on the opposite side, and that is when you go to a smoother stone. After you are finished on the 1000 grit stone, complete the same process with the 4000 grit stone. The knife is sharp after grinding, but the blade can be polished further with a fine polishing compound spread onto a piece of leather called a strop. I made this strop with a piece of hardwood plain flat with 2 pieces of saddle leather glued to the surface. I am using a Veritas honing compound, but jeweler's rouge works good too. Spread a generous layer of polishing compound on the leather and drag the blade over top to get a mirror finish. You want to press down firmly and take care not to change the angle as you are pulling the blade towards you. Never push the knife blade forward for the obvious reason of cutting through the leather. Test the sharpness of the blade on scraps of leather. The knife should have no resistance as it slices through even the thinnest layers. Always use the strop before you begin, and protect the edge of the knife as much as possible to help maintain the sharpest edge longer.